Hey everybody, it's Wally Bruner here. So some of you might have had a chance to check out our YouTube channel. It is very much homegrown. One could say we're actually maybe doing this a little bit backwards, and this should have been the first video that I recorded, but we often get the question of, why are we doing this? You know, why are we choosing the road not taken, as Robert Frost would say? My wife and I, we had a great life. We still have a great life, but we had a pretty cush life in Indianapolis, lived up on the northeast side of town, lived in a beautiful neighborhood, had a swimming pool in the backyard, just absolutely beautiful. And I guess for me, this whole journey into self-reliance and self-sufficiency happened about 10 years ago. And it started when my cousin Julie posted something about earthen homes on Facebook. And I think it was something around like Hobbit homes. And I thought, you know what, that sounds really pretty cool. It was Sunday morning, we were having coffee, dogs were on the sofa with us, and I literally went down the self-reliance earthship rabbit hole and learned about Michael Reynolds, learned about Earthships and his company in Taos, New Mexico. And that's where everything started. And now here we are almost 10 years later, and we're building a high performance home here in the beautiful hills of Brown County, Indiana. My wife and I thought for maybe the last 3 or 5 years that we would go out west, right? Go west, young man, as the saying used to go. And we thought we would go to maybe Colorado. We thought maybe Utah or Montana. And then what we started noticing is the folks that are leaving California and that are leaving Washington State and are going into Colorado, Utah, Montana, etc. And we saw that and said, you know what, that might be too busy for us. There's a lot going on. And also that was driving up the prices, right, of real estate. And not to mention the whole challenge and constraint of water rights and having access to water. So, as we started, processing this and thinking more about it, this light bulb went off in our head of, well, wait a minute. We have beautiful rolling hills, an hour and a half south of Indianapolis in Brown County, Indiana. We've both been coming down here for, the last 25, 30 years, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I guess you could say we set our intention to the universe, and then all this crazy stuff started to happen, right? All the alignment of our contractors, our architects, how we even found this beautiful piece of property in the Yellowwood forest area was all about us putting our intention out there. The other question that we get is, why are you doing a high performance home, right? Why not just build a regular home, etc.? And I think one of the things that my wife and I saw during COVID was how fragile the systems are, right? And I think we all know about the supply chain shortages, right? The whole thing around toilet paper and food and, all the things that were vanishing from the shelves. And then at that time we were living in Indianapolis, and then we saw the riots happening, and we really saw how fragile the whole system is. And we had no resilience, right? We were reliant on the grocery stores. We were reliant on the electric company, the water company, etc. And we said, you know what? We don't want to live like that anymore. We want to be more independent. We want to be self-sufficient. We're not looking to go to the one side of the spectrum, which is preppers, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As my wife and I often say is, you do you. You do what works best for you, right? And if you'd like to share and talk about it, that would be freaking awesome, right? So what we decided to do down here was to build a passive inspired hybrid grid connected home. And we're going to design it ourselves with the help of 2 wonderful architects. And we're going to GC project manage this on our own, because not only do we want to be connected to it, but we want to learn how to do this stuff. Because eventually we're going to stand up a training center here, and we're going to teach people how to do this. So the property that we chose, it's a little over 9 acres, and it has southern exposure. And that was absolutely critical because we are following the basic design elements of a passive house. And those are southern orientation, so you can catch the sun in the wintertime to help warm your house, an insulated, fully insulated concrete slab, highly insulated walls. We're actually doing something called structural insulated panel SIPs, high performance doors and windows. Our doors are not super high performance, they're really nice, but the windows are. The windows are triple pane, German inspired engineered windows. The ceiling, the roof system that we're doing is nothing fancy. It's a truss-based roof system, 24 on center trusses. But what is different is that we're wrapping the entire inside of the house in a airtight membrane so that the house will be airtight. And then we're putting about 22 to 24 inches of fiberglass blown and batten insulation on top. So the ceilings will be at R60, the walls are at R40, and the slab is going to come in at about R23, and it's an airtight house, right? So this is a house that'll be able to almost heat and cool itself on its own. So then that, you know, opened up Pandora's box around, okay, so what kind of HVAC system are you going to put in? What does your electrical system need to look like? All of that. And again, with our house, it's a simple rectangle. It is 40 by 70, so it's a pretty good size house, 3-bedroom, 2,800 square feet. And it's a shed style roof, right? And, you know, it's standing seam roof, 24 gauge, nothing fancy, you know, because what we're trying, we have a very fixed budget. So we're doing this, you know, with a limited amount of resources. We don't have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, you know, to pour into this house. We were fortunate enough that we were able to take the proceeds of our house from Indianapolis, you know, to invest in this house. So when you put these passive elements together, so that is super insulated, southern exposure, you have a very tight envelope, right? You've got vapor and air barriers. We're going to put in a energy recovery ventilator along with a small Mitsubishi inverter heat pump system and a dehumidifier. But our ERV, what that does is that blends inside outside air. It also does some filtering. That should maintain our house roughly between 68 and 71. We don't think we're going to have an issue whatsoever heating the house. We're probably going to be more on the cooling side. You know, here in southern Indiana, it gets hot and it gets humid, right? So it'll be interesting to see, you know, how this works. The other point that is unique with our house is we're putting in a 3-sided wood burning fireplace with a separate airflow system to help offset the internal air that's going to be used from combustion when we burn fires in the house. That's probably the only reason why this house would not be passive certified, but also we're not interested in passive certification, right? Because there isn't anything wrong with getting your house passive certified, but it's a lot of work, right? And it's an incredible amount of detail work. We wanted to experiment with something that we felt that we could learn, we could do ourselves, and that we could teach other people. So our team is a great group of 2 amazing architects, local framing crew, local electrician, great HVAC guys out of Bloomington, Indiana, who are willing to do something completely different, local insulation, local roofers, right? So we wanted to stay local to Brown County and utilize those resources. From a material perspective, we have some great partners across North America that we're working with to come in and help us with affordable, high-tech, best-of-breed products. So this is the journey, right? This is the journey. This is, you know, why we're doing it. It is an experiment. We're going to see what happens. The first phase is to get the house out of the ground and move into it by Thanksgiving. The second phase of the house will be putting up a 6 kilowatt PV system with battery backup, so we'll be hybrid grid connected, and then standing up the training center on the other side of our property. So, you know, that's the vision, is you know, to be more self-reliant, to be more self-sufficient, to be more conscious around the resources that we're using. And then how do we give that back, right? How do we teach people, et cetera, about how to, first of all, increase their awareness, and secondly, you know, how can I do this? And it might not be as grandiose as our project of building a high-performance house. It might be, you know, just basic passive solar understanding. How can I, you know, collect energy from the sun? How can I shade my house better? How can I put in a victory garden? How can I, do rainwater catchment? Actually, that's something we're going to be doing at our house, is because we don't have water on our road and the wells here aren't that great, we're putting in a 5,500 gallon cistern that we're catching off our roof. And our roof has 3,300 square feet of water catchment potential. And what that means in English is if we get 1 inch of rainfall over 1 hour, that's 1,700 gallons of drinking water in our tank. So, have we ever done this before? No, but I've stayed in a Holiday Inn and I've read a lot of stuff and talked to a lot of people, and the rest is, we'll figure it out as we go. And as my dad, Wally Bruner, who had a television show called Wally's Workshop, used to say, you can do it if you try, right? So we're going to give it a try, and we appreciate you following us on our journey. And when we get our training center up and running, would love to have you down here. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, please post them in the comments, and we'll continue to keep you posted. So with that, it's lights, camera, action. We've got footers being installed today. Should be done by tomorrow. Then I'll do the insulated slab detail next week. We'll pour the slab. We think SIPs are going to be coming 1st of July, so we're working on getting our framing crew lined up, get our trusses ordered, get the rest of the materials ready to go, and we should be fully enclosed and under roof by the end of August. Today is June 12th, to give you a time reference there. So, I challenge you all to start to think different. Think about, do I really need this? Or where do these resources come from that I utilize? And can I interact with that a little bit different? And that's where we started from, and who knows the path that it'll take you down. So, welcome to our journey. Great to have you here, and watch for more videos, and we'll chat with you all later. Take care, folks.